What's up, YouTube? S.Craft Blends back in the building. I hope you're doing phenomenal today. I just want to start off by saying thank you to everyone who supports each week, who watches the video, everyone who subscribed. Thank you so much. God bless you. I appreciate you. So today we're going to do a burst fade Mohawk on my man Jermaine here. Jermaine comes in every single week. I mean, like clockwork. My man comes in every single week. So usually it's not, there's not a lot of guesswork. What I mean by that is, if you can see even his beard, he doesn't line up his own beard. He just waits for me to cut it. So you can already see the faint line already. So what I like to do is start out with my lineup because it's already pretty much there. So I just come in and I just go ahead and hit up the lineup. That way we know where it's at. I don't have to, if I was to knock all the hair down or say even do a number one on his beard like we usually do, then I might have to guess where the line was before. But to save time, I'll go ahead and throw that lineup on first, and then I'll hit his beard with the number one. So that way, I don't have to guess like where was this line at last week or readjust or anything like that. So there again, we're gonna do the burst taper today, or burst fade Mohawk, whatever you want to call it. And we're gonna do that using the detachable blades. And the reason I'm doing the detachable blades is simply because I've had several people ask me, like, man, can you do more detachable blade fade videos or cuts using the detachable blades? And hey, I like detachable blades. I feel like that there is definitely a place for them. I feel like that if you know how to use them properly, man, you can execute an amazing haircut in amazing time. So once again, we're just going to go ahead and throw this lineup on here. Right now I'm using the Gamma hitters. These actual hitters, I have not had a chance to adjust them yet. So they're not hitting the way I like them to hit. However, here shortly I'll grab my other hitters because I realize these aren't doing too good for me. So I grabbed the ones that I adjusted, and man, they hit really nice. They're a good trimmer, especially for the price point. I feel like if you can get them set right, man, they do a phenomenal job. However, there again, these aren't really set the way I like them. So it's taking a little more time to get that lineup knocked out. So right now we're gonna start this burst fade doing just kind of like a little oval shape. And as you can see, I kind of lean that oval more towards the front. So it's not just a perfect circle. I like it to kind of be right in the middle of the ear and kind of swoop towards the front. And then I'll come in once I bald it out and I'll shave it out with my Babyliss shavers. But the reason I kind of have it leaning more towards the front is because I want to give myself a little bit more room for error towards that back thicker part. If we start the circle off, closer to the back, then we'll probably end up fading more into that back than I want to. I want to leave that a little bit fuller. So we're going to do the skip blade technique as well on this video, just like we did the skip blade technique on yesterday's video of the high taper. So now I created that circle with the trimmer, which is like a 5-0. I skipped the 000, went into the 1A. Now I'm going to skip my number one blade and use the 1A blade. And I'm just kind of following the pattern of that, kind of oval circle deal that I made a minute ago. And for me, I'm not worried about that circle or the oval being absolutely perfect. I know a lot of people are like, hey man, you need to make sure that your lines are precise, and I agree. If you need to make sure your lines are precise, make sure your lines are precise. I don't always go for that, way of thinking, simply because I've been cutting hair a long time, and at the end I'm going to come back in and I like to tap in different places anyway, so I'm kind of all over the place. And some people have a hard time following me, but I try to make it as simple as possible. If you actually seen the way I cut hair in person, you'll be like, my God, what's this boy doing? He's all over the place. I'm actually creating a system just for you guys. But anyways, There again, we went from the trimmer or the 5-0, we skipped the 3-0, then we did the 0A, and then we skipped the number 1 blade. We went to the 1A blade and made our next panel. Now we skipped the 1.5 blade and we just jumped straight into the 2, and I'm taking that 2, just following that same pattern that we created earlier, and I'm taking it right up into that parietal ridge area. Now, just like every other skip fade video I've done, skip blade fade video I've done, we skip blades going up, and then on the way back down, we hit every blade that we skipped. So now I'm gonna use that 1.5 blade starting the fade coming down. And I'm tying in the 1A to the number 2 with that 1.5 blade. And I just follow that same pattern. And as you know, if you watched any of my videos, I'm not looking for perfection at first. I'm simply looking to just knock this thing out. I want to go ahead and I want it to be decent, you know, but I'm just looking to lay a good foundation, trying to get the hairs kind of where I want them, kind of get them in place, knowing that I can always come back later and fine tune it and do my detail work, whether it's with clippers and guards or shear over comb, blending shear over comb, or just using the detachable blades like I do in this video, just the corners and things like that. So now that we did that 1.5 blade, I'm moving down to the next blade I skipped, and that was the number 1 blade. And I'm just coming in, you know, just trying to tie these together, knocking out those guidelines that we left on the way up. When I'm trying to remove bulk, I use the whole blade. When I'm just trying to flick out lines, I just use the corners of the blade. So right now I'm just using the corners of the blade just to tap out any dark spots that I see. Just doing some detail work at the moment. Now I'm going to jump down to that 000 that we skipped earlier. Remember, we went 5-0 or trimmer, OA, 1A, and 2. On the way down, we did 1.5, 1. Now we're grabbing that 000 guard, or blade rather, just to you know, tap at that bald line to make sure we can, you know, just kind of blend that thing out. Now as I'm tapping at that with the corners, if I see any dark spots, you know, higher up in that burst fade, I'll just go ahead and tap at those with the corner of the blade. I couldn't get that bald line out with the 000 because my trimmers are very close, so I went ahead and grabbed that 5-0 blade. Now I'm just using the corner of that 5-0 blade to really knock out that line. And if the line won't come out with the 5-0 blade, then I just grab my trimmers, because whatever you put the line in with, you can definitely get that line out with if you hold it in the right position and just flick at it. But as you can see, it's coming together. You know, it's taking shape. And as you can see, I'm getting closer to that C-cup area, but not trying to cut the C-cup off, because I do want to you know, leave the C-cup on there, so we have just that little faint kind of shadow happening. So now I jump back up to my 0A blade just to kind of touch that line up that we created a moment ago. All right, now I'm going to come back in with my trimmers and just really tap at that line again. Make sure we get that bottom line out. A lot of times, man, they get set in really hard, and sometimes you got to work at it a little bit to get those out. But I found that if you'll basically apply the same pressure you use putting it in, but you just use the corners of that blade, that you can really knock that thing out. So before we jump to the other side, I just wanted to go ahead and, make sure that this was as clean as possible. So I went ahead and put my 1A blade back on just to knock out some of that darker area that I see up there. And there again, remember, just like the shape of the bald oval that we cut in earlier, I want that to kind of have that flow all the way up into that faux hawk. So if I see some of that dark area that is, looks like it's dipping down into that flow, or if it looks jagged instead of just, rounded with that oval shape, we just keep tapping at that link to make sure we get everything kind of moving in that direction. As you get used to blades, you'll know which ones you need to grab by looking at the length of the hair. Like, yeah, I need to use 1A in this area. Now I need to use, like a number 1 or a 0A. The more you get used to it. And if you are in doubt, grab a bigger blade and try to tap at it. And if you're not cutting any hair, that's a good thing. Then you can just step down until you start, making a dent in that hair that you're wanting to cut. It's coming together, though. It's coming together. We'll put some more details on it in a little bit, but it's coming together. The foundation's looking good. I tell you what, man, I enjoy using detachable blades. They're just therapeutic. You know what I'm saying? They just feel good. Also, I love a good challenge, man. I love a good challenge. So now that we got a good foundation laid on that side, basically we're just lining up the back. Like I told you before, I usually like to just do the whole lineup, beard, everything before I even start the cut. But because I was recording the video, I just did one side, so I didn't have to worry about turning the camera, and a bunch of times. So anyways, now I went ahead and did the other side for just the sake of time. Same exact steps. If you need to know those steps, just rewind and watch it again. So I went ahead and lined them up, and I put on my little magic pencil, and I did that this time before I did the color enhancement, but we're just adding color enhancement. And right now for the month of August, if you go to SeanCutsHair.com, you can actually use S.Craft 20 as a discount code for the month of August and get 20% off of anything you order. So if you want to load up on color cards or t-shirts or whatever he has on his site, just use S.Craft 20 in the discount code area, and it'll knock 20% off your whole purchase. Go ahead and do that. So now that I put on some color enhancement, I went in with my trimmers just to kind of rub that magic pencil in pretty good. And now I'm hitting it with the razor. And some people say, hey, is the magic pencil necessary? Absolutely not. But it does look good for pictures. But for me, I've found that my customers, whenever I put it on for pictures, just so my pictures pop more, it gives this enhancement. It just makes, the lines look sharper and crisper. And actually, whenever I did that recently on one of my customers for the first time, he said, oh, so this is what it looks like to be part of that exclusive clientele. Now you get this extra stuff. He was like, my God, this looks amazing. So I was like, you know what, it does look amazing, and it only takes me like a minute to throw on, and it makes them feel better. It just makes the lines look crispier and sharper. It'll wear off in a little bit, but when they leave, man, it gives a good contrast between that light and that dark hair, right? The light skin and dark hair. So anyways, once we did all that, I just kind of free-handed the loose hairs going up into the Mohawk. And now I'm using my JRL 1040s, or is that my thousands? Either one. And I just come in doing some detail work, just tapping around at any little dark spots I see. And I'm just trying to tie this thing together, make it look sharper. Today, I just want you to know he blessed me with $100 for this haircut. Like I said, he comes in every week. He always blesses me. But he gave me $100 for the haircut. And I was like, bro, I just want you to know I appreciate the love that you show. And he was like, man, I appreciate you. And it's because I just take my time, man. I want to make sure that I get him looking right. And I say that simply because if you take your time and you really value your customer, man, it pays off big time. So anyways, guys, this is the final cut. If you're not following me on Instagram, make sure you follow me at S.Craft_blends. Also, if you want in-depth teachings like this, but where we take time to answer your questions and just go live, make sure you hit the link in the description, Tomb 45 Academy, only $20 a month. Hey, till next time, God bless you guys. Peace.